Amanda Nunes and Felicia Spencer. I mean, at this stage, where do you go if you're Amanda Nunes? Felicia Spencer presented a really tough challenger, but I think deep inside, a lot of us knew that she really wasn't going to be the individual. And everyone's got a puncher's chance, and I don't really like saying that, but just based on the caliber of opponents that had come to challenge Amanda prior, Felicia Spencer presented, potentially, at least from name recognition, the least of the challenge. And at least that was the view held by one bettor who apparently put like, what, $1 million on Amanda Nunes to win like 166K. Well, let's just say that that guy is not regretting that decision right now. But look, let's talk about the fight and what actually transpired. I think we all knew that, coming in, from a stand-up perspective, there was no way Felicia was ever really going to compete there. With that being said, if you can't get it, I think it was really sort of interesting, but like, if you can't at least get the respect of a champion in that particular regard, it's very hard to see how you can establish the sort of takedown unless your wrestling moves are just amazing or your clinch moves are amazing. So it was interesting to see how that would play out. And in the first round, we saw how it played out. Amanda Nunes was actually the one initiating like a lot of trips, and physically it seemed like she was the strongest sort of fighter, and she, I think she definitely was, but she showed that in terms of the fight, holistically throughout 5 rounds. If I were to build it up and condense it in terms of what was happening, is either Amanda Nunes was really picking Felicia Spencer apart on the feet, which was to be expected. I think in the first round, in the first minute or something, Felicia got struck straight on the eye, and it cut the eye, and it wasn't the worst cut you've ever seen, but like, again, very similar to Burns versus Woodley. You get something like that anywhere near your vision really early on, and it just compromises the integrity of the entirety of the fight. And I think Felicia was really fighting at a disadvantage in that particular regard after that. Not that it might have changed the course of it, but like, it's definitely a factor, right? But again, all power to Amanda. But I think what was just as impressive was the fact that it was Amanda who was exhibiting really strong sort of grappling, tripping Felicia repeatedly, almost at will when she wanted. And I think, man, that moniker, the Lioness, really kind of suits her, obviously, because it just makes sense. I mean, she's just out there devouring people and just alienating them, annihilating them rather. But man, like, in no engagement of combat was that better when I saw her tripping Felicia, kicking her legs, and then just looking at her as if to say, "Come up, I can beat you wherever you want." And that's the thing that I saw take away. Look, rounds 1 to 3 were levels of that, and Felicia she's tough, man. She's really sort of tough. Never did she give up. She was getting outclassed on the feet, as we kind of expected, but the disparity was massive. I think the first 2 rounds, we're talking about single digits of strikes. Her striking was really quite rudimentary. What I did like about Felicia Spencer was defensively, she was offering some sort of really like weird looks. Look, she was definitely trying the best that she could, but man, Amanda Nunes is a different sort of beast. Yeah, like it's just amazing when she hits people. The impact is immense. It's crazy. And Felicia, for all the defensive prowesses that she was engaging on, the fact that she's just darn like dog tough, was really struggling to absorb that, as no one should be absorbing those sort of hits for that long a period of time. But man, it was intense. It was intense. After the 3rd round, I think at the conclusion of it, you could see that Amanda was really picking up the volume in terms of the fight. The strikes that she was landing and really picking apart Felicia. You saw her a bit bloodied, and you saw the tweets in between the rounds that were showing her like people rather were talking if this was a time to throw the towel, and no doubt that went into my mind, but I just didn't think it was the time ready yet. And DC shared those sort of those thoughts as well. While she was definitely getting beaten, there wasn't amazing damage. Look, on the fourth round, however, that sort of changed. She really picked up the output and was absolutely flogging Felicia. There's no other way to describe it. She was giving her a straight beatdown. And I think no combination kind of encapsulated that until better than the end of the fourth round, where I think she was just hitting her against the cage, and Felicia had this massive hematoma. And then I was thinking, look, now is the time. If you're ever going to let a fighter go, now is the time, when you have an absolute welt on your head. And yeah, it was weird, man. Like, it was really weird in the sense that the 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 corner didn't see it that way. They definitely didn't see it that way, and they were trying to talk to her about the game plan. And this is just weird, man. Like, when you see that disconnect between the fighter and the corner, you just think, what's happening here? I mean, it's very easy to talk about that when you're sitting from an armchair and watching in the comfort of your home. But man, I think fighters put a lot in it, and yeah, like Felicia was tough. She's just tough. There's no other way to put it. Tough to the point where she was just gonna get beat down. The fourth round was no much different. I actually thought that Amanda was um, laying off on her, but she picked up the output towards the end of the round. And look, it closed that chapter. She was convincingly beaten, Felicia Spencer, and look, she's a tough customer. And against anyone else, which by the way, the majority of the women, like all of them, in fact, that have faced Amanda Nunes have seen just how tough she is. She's like ascended Super Saiyan. There's different levels to this game, and Amanda is really that GOAT status. She's pinnacle there. Like, she stands alone, I think, across both genders, which is an amazing thing to say and an amazing feat there. A great ambassador of the sport, and just a great fighter, right? A great person. Where to from now, though? Like, that's the thing that the guys were talking about, and it's very easy to talk about that. But where to from now? Like, apparently she's versed Shevchenko twice, close-ish fights, but twice, man. Like, I'd watch that, but like, where does she go from now? Like, can she sit and chillax? Obviously not, because she wants to get paid. It's a really interesting predicament, but man, it's just a testimony to how good of a fighter she is. Look, that was my summary of the fight, guys. Like, let me know what you thought. Is Amanda the greatest of all time across both the women and the men's division? I definitely think she's up there in the conversation. Leave some comments below, like the video, guys, subscribe, give us some support, and chat soon. Peace.